Yo, dudes, what's going on with y'all? This week it was suggested by my friend Mikey that I read the Summoner series, which I know nothing about, but y'all should know that that's never stopped me before. So beware, because spoilers be lurking ahead. So the story kicks off with our MC Fletcher struggling to do his best in a town that I forget the name of, and we're introduced to a couple of his townsmen, as well as warned that the town has to deal with both vicious orcs and dangerous wolves. I actually really like this because it very quickly sets a scene, yet in all of this is also very deep. Every character is a character and multifaceted, and it's very well done. So, we're quickly introduced to the idea of summoners who assist in the army. They apparently have the ability to summon demons and use them for help, which is an interesting idea. That evening, Fletcher makes friends with an old ex-soldier who allegedly has a summoner's book, and who helps Fletcher win in a bar fight before heading home to get a hangover. In the morning, the soldier is gone, but left Fletcher that summoner's book as a gift, which is how they summon demons. So, naturally, Fletcher tries it out that night and summons a small imp that nearly strangles him to death. I think by accident. Anyhow, that night he's attacked by a dude he beat in a bar fight, and that dude tries to kill Fletcher because ultimate dishonor bar. Fletcher manages to escape with the help from his surrogate father figure, and he escapes with his new imp, who is like a very affectionate dog, and who has an interesting communication method that actually reminds me strongly of the Aragon books. Anyhow, Fletcher makes his way into the next town and manages to get enrolled in a magic summoner school and begins making friends and taking classes. His suspiciously diverse friend group consists of multiple humans, a dwarf, and sort of contains an elf, who all go to what is apparently one of the most racist towns in existence. Neo-Nazism happens, and they manage to escape back to the school where, much like Harry Potter, they take extremely dangerous classes that have to have killed at least a couple kids. But it's a school to train people for the military, so at least that makes a little more sense than a school for wizards. Then, in addition to racism, we get a healthy dose of classism, as nobles and all assholes are handed the best demons from the start, and are so much better than the lower working class, and it's all as heavy-handed as it sounds. Now, hold on, because I'm prepared to say I actually quite like the book. While ideals and messages in it can be painfully obvious when examined with some objectivity, it doesn't actually stop the book from being a good read. Each character has some depth, and while Fletcher does have some bits of a Gary Stew, he's also brash, impulsive, and none too bright, so it equals out. Honestly, it reminds me of Aragon, as in someone that had a good amount of power but has no clue how to use it correctly or what to do with it. It can certainly work, so I'll give it a pass. The biggest advantage this book has is the relationships built between the characters. Even if I do have some trouble remembering the names in hindsight, they do interesting things. For example, Fletcher has two human friends that go through a bit of an upset when they realize they've both been gifted mites, who are amongst the weakest of the demons. But they come to appreciate their mites after realizing that they're very skilled scouts who can be quite dangerous in packs. And that's actually some good character moment right there. The book continues to provide tense moments and a good amount of back and forth between the noble assholes and a justice warrior team, or whatever you want to call them. And as I said, I quite enjoy it overall. Anyhow, Fletcher and his ragtag bunch of adventurers break a fair few laws and have a fair few trips in a very Harry Potter-esque way, and finally manages to end up in a tournament where he and his classmates had to compete against one another. And Fletcher does fairly well, besting one of the stuck-up noble assholes before he and his dwarf friends are arrested, ending the first book. My personal score is 9 out of 10. It's not perfect, but it's pretty damn good, and I really enjoyed it. If you like Harry Potter or Aragon or Star Wars, I would give this a recommendation, as it really has a lot of nice ideas and a pretty good story and some strong characters, and I really don't know what more you can ask of a book than that. Let's go ahead and take a look at that bingo card. And while we did the safety dance all around this thing, we never quite hit bingo. If only I didn't like the book, or I could call out a Gary Stew. Damn. Oh well. Anyhow, that's all for this time, so if you have something else you want me to review, go ahead and leave a comment down below, let me know. If you want to see what we get into next time, go ahead and subscribe. Until then, drink plenty of water, tell your parents that you love them, and stroke your mustache at night.